I think it's very, very clear that Games Workshop has misunderstood the community on this one. I said it all through last season of Warcry as they just kept pumping out the same terrain over and over. And the entire community was saying the same thing. Hey, where are the Seraphon ruins? And I was really, really hoping that this next season, I guess, was going to like be an underground season and have all of these like ruins and the cool like indoor setting. Games Workshop basically just hyped up like this big, awesome crash spaceship and all these cool Seraphon ruins and then just never delivered. And I can't help but think it wasn't because they didn't want to make something cool that the people wanted. They just had no clue. They were completely lost on this one. And I don't think they realized why this most recent season of Warcry actually failed. They basically baited the entire Warcry community. They got us all hyped up. They led us to believe that we were going to get this awesome, sweet, like ruin scenery. And then the whole entire time, all they did was just puke out the same trees over and over again with a couple other like supplementary pieces of like bamboo or some bones. And the truth is, people don't like to get baited. Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the Gorger Mawpack. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. The Gorger Mawpack prepare to make a meal out of the welder corpse. All is not well in the gnarlwood. Despite supping on the flesh of thousands of doomed combatants, drawn to the secrets it hides, the wood still hungers. Terrible earthquakes rend the land and bring new treasures to the surface. As this deadly forest reforms over and over, now the broken earth yawns open to reveal giant maw pits, eager to swallow all comers into their grinding chthonic gullets. These terrifying phenomena have drawn two new factions into the gnarlwood, each seeking different ends. Who is truly the hunter and who will be the hunted? Alright, so here we got a new video. So we already saw the Wilder Corp hunters, and they definitely look cool. They've got some doggos with them, always a nice thing. But this is our first official look at the new ogres, and they look awesome. I mean, these guys are not just your typical ogres, but if they redid the ogre range with even any amount of similarities, they would just look absolutely amazing. So I'm really a big fan of these Wildercorp hunters. They are part of the new Cities of Sigmar range, definitely a Warcry warband, and then also able to be taken in Sigmar. Definitely very cool, nice looking kit, but these are just next level. So obviously these are not like just your typical regular old ogres. These are sort of like the savage starved version, and they sort of look like borderline like crypt horror, kind of like ghouls almost, but they're clearly still ogres. But I absolutely love the look of these things. They look big. They look not so much chunky, but just overall imposing. Warcry Hunter and Hunted pits the rugged rangers of the Wildercorp hunters in a fight to survival against the frenzied Mawpack of Gorgers, pallid ogre brutes afflicted with curse of eternal hunger. So this is super cool. So right off the bat, we see this is a new terrain piece right here, the Maw Pit. And then we see the 4 new ogre models, and then they're kind of being like surrounded or attacked by the Wildercorp hunters. And then here we have our first look at the box, and we notice here that this, similar like the Warcry starter box that just came out not too long ago, is not your typical big box like what we've seen in the past in Warcry. And we'll talk a little bit about this more at the end of the video, but Games Workshop did mention in the actual like Nova reveal also that they're not going to do like the big box full of terrain because everybody probably already has plenty of terrain from the last couple box sets. And in my opinion, this is both a good idea and also a complete misunderstanding of the community. The problem isn't that we didn't want terrain. The problem is we didn't want the same terrain over and over again. And we did want the terrain that was promised to us, but never arrived. So we'll talk about that a little more at the end. But it's definitely worth note that obviously the failure of Warcry last season has made Games Workshop completely readjust for this new season. And in my opinion, based on the starter set that we already saw, they're already off to a terrible start because that's one of the worst box sets they've ever made. The feral fiends that make up the Gorger Mawpack are pariahs, even amongst the hungriest heavyweights of ogre society. Cursed to never find relief from their eternal hunger, damned to taste no satisfaction in the feast, Gorgers are malformed, malicious, and malnourished beasts, quite literally gutless, at least by Maw tribe standards. Packs of Gorgers prowl on the outskirts of the Maw tribe camps, squeeze through the open caves where ogres discard their leftovers, and lope after their prey with appalling feral intent, led by mighty clawbacks. They've been drawn to the gnarlwood in unprecedented numbers by the eruption of the maw pits, which they believe are the manifestation of the gulping god. So very cool. Definitely a big fan of the lore. I like the idea of these gorgers, and they're basically like the feral, kind of like starving ogres, the less civilized version of them. And then the introduction of the maw pits and everything from like the lore and then into the actual game, very cool as well. So let's take a look at these new models here. So first we have the big boy, the leader. Very, very cool. I absolutely love them. I love the kind of like bone all over them. I love their primitive looking weapons, the sort of like torturous like spikes in their skin. Again, they look very, very close aesthetically to like a kind of like ghoul version of ogres. All right, and then here we see the next one. Still got some arrows in them, skulls, broken free from like shackles. Very, very cool. There's so much texture on this skin and so much opportunity as well. Absolutely love just the mass amount of just random teeth all over the place. And then here we have the third one. Very, very savage. No eyes for this one, covered up there. Very, very cool. Just super gaunt, and just you can see the struggle in them and just the savagery and everything. These are nice paint jobs, but as always, once the community gets a hold of these things, we know we're going to see some absolutely stellar paint jobs. Very, very cool. All of their like poses are awesome. The posture on this one is almost like on 4 hands and legs. Just tons and tons of detail, like the fresh bits of flesh in their mouth, the actual like stone weaponry. I'm just in love with these models. And then here we see a fifth one. For some reason, I was thinking there's only 4, but there are 5 of them. That's awesome. So these things have got to be as tough as like a Stormcast Eternal if this is going to be your whole warband. Very, very cool. And we have already seen the Wildercorp hunters, but we'll go through them as well. The mortal citizens of Gur's settlement make excellent sacrifices for these holy hallowed places. And when Gorgers begin snatching people from their beds, it's up to the local Wildercorp to track them down. Hunting such foul creatures takes a hardened veteran of the wilderness, which means the Wildercorp hunters are perfect for the job. These expert scouts are no strangers to long weeks spent in the wild of Gur and beyond, and chafe at the pomp and formality of the free cities. They use their experience as trackers to survive perilous skirmishes and rely on their loyal trailhounds to keep watch in the hostile environs of the mortal realms, the gnarlwood included. All right, so here we see the leader with one of the new doggos, very ferocious looking. Not quite as ferocious once you see the ogres. And then here we see one of the guys with a crossbow here. And then we see a combination of like various different crossbows. Some like longer crossbows with the little stand. Some with spears. And then a lot with like the sort of like smaller crossbows, even a hand crossbow and sword. Just really nice look to these guys. They definitely look like they are surviving in the woods. I think Games Workshop just absolutely killed it with the entire range, these included. And then here we've got the other 4 doggos. All nice looking dogs right here. Cool poses and everything. 4 nice new looks. Definitely a big, big fan of these as well. Very, very cool. Games Workshop crushed it with this new set. Hunter and Hunted also comes with a brand new piece of terrain. A troublingly toothsome maw pit, complete with a bone pulpit built over it and fanged rim by worshipful ogres. These peristaltic potholes must constantly eat or else return to stone and dirt, and so consume anything that ventures near them, screeching and howling the moment they finish their meal. So obviously a very cool new terrain piece right here. So nice blend of like the actual stone, the like fleshy teeth from the actual pit itself, and then of course like the lining of like the spines and rib bones, and then the little pulpit and everything. Really, really cool. I absolutely love the aesthetic of this thing. Nice paint job on it as well. And it's going to go really nice with the terrain we do already have from the last season of Warcry. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. This set also comes with the Warband Tome, Hunter and Hunted, which is stuffed to bursting with the background information and illustrations for the Gnarlwood Gorgers and the Wildercorp, as well as full rules, quests, and background tables for both warbands, and the Maw Pit, a shared campaign arc, and a new battle plan generator. So very cool. That is the rules for the new warbands, and then all the other good stuff in there, as well as some rules for the Maw Pit. So I've got to say, I think this set is really cool. I'm definitely a big fan of all the models in it. Games Workshop has absolutely killed it. It definitely reminds me a bit of the movie Time Machine, where there's like the big kind of jacked up guys and they like hunt the humans, drag them into the holes, and then like eat them and all that good stuff. Definitely reminds me of them. They're all like muscular, jacked up. A lot of them are like blind. They have like the super pale skin. Just really cool like aesthetic and everything to them. Definitely a big fan. Now that being said, I think it's very clear that Games Workshop has misunderstood the community on this one. I said it all through last season of Warcry as they just kept pumping out the same terrain over and over, and the entire community was saying the same thing. Hey, where are the Seraphon ruins? We've been like led to believe. And I was really hoping that this next season, I guess, was going to like be an underground season and have all of these like ruins and the cool like indoor setting. But the truth is, Games Workshop basically just hyped up like this big, awesome crashed spaceship and all these cool Seraphon ruins and then just never delivered. And I can't help but think it wasn't because they didn't want to make something cool that the people wanted. They just had no clue. They were completely lost on this one. And I don't think they realized why this most recent season of Warcry actually failed. They basically baited the entire Warcry community. They got us all hyped up. They led us to believe that we were going to get this awesome, sweet, like ruined scenery. And then the whole entire time, all they did was just puke out the same trees over and over again with a couple other like supplementary pieces of like bamboo or some bones. And the truth is, people don't like to get baited. So is Warcry going to be a dead game now? Did Games Workshop officially kill it, kill the interest, and basically just disenfranchise the majority of the community? I don't think I would go quite that far, but there's definitely a lot of people, I think, that have given up on Warcry, given up on Games Workshop in general, or just overall like disappointed with their failure to deliver. So you guys, let me know your opinions out there. If you are specifically a Warcry player or somebody that was buying all of the boxes last season, what do you think? Did Games Workshop really bait us and not deliver, or am I over exaggerating? I think it's a pretty accurate statement. And then on top of that, now we see this disappointing new starter set that came out. It's definitely just overpriced and doesn't even include 2 full warbands. It has lackluster, like minimalist terrain, and just overall doesn't have the value that Games Workshop's other starter sets have. And now we're getting this box set, which I really like. I think it's cool and everything. I like the terrain piece. I like both warbands. I'll definitely be picking this up. But I mean, what does this mean for Warcry now? Obviously, this isn't going to be a big box set priced at $185 like the last season big boxes were. It barely has any terrain in it and still has just 2 warbands. So are we going to see this closer to like the $120 range or something like that? Is Games Workshop still going to try to push the prices and charge us full price but without all the terrain? I doubt it. So I'm curious what direction they're taking here. It's obvious that they basically went with the like kill team season plan and it completely failed for Warcry. So it's smart on them to go ahead and ditch that plan and try something new. I definitely agree with that. But my problem is I'm not sure they understand why it failed. It didn't fail because we didn't want it. It didn't fail because the idea of seasons is bad. Obviously, we see that with Kill Team. So the fact of the matter is, the biggest failure of 2022 and like the seasons from Games Workshop is Warcry. And in my opinion, it was borderline a complete failure. You can buy the boxes for a fraction of what they cost when they were brand new, still right now. And most of the community, most of the players, most of the fans are completely disenfranchised by Games Workshop's failure to deliver. But in my opinion, the idea wasn't necessarily bad, and we've seen it implemented successfully with Kill Team. It was 100% the execution. So whoever was behind the scenes on Warcry, whoever was like writing up all the stories and hyping everybody up for the Seraphon Temple and the ruins and all this like awesome stuff, those are the people that are responsible. The ones inside Games Workshop that basically created a narrative, got everybody excited for what we were going to get, and then never delivered. So let me know what you guys think down below. Obviously, Games Workshop dropped the ball. Obviously, the season of Warcry was a complete failure. As far as sales metrics are concerned, I still love a ton of the models that came through that set. I do still like some of the terrain, and it is still neat. It was just way too much of the same. Do you feel like Games Workshop failed? Do you feel like there's a redemption arc for Warcry? Or do you think that them completely changing the way that they even produce products for the game and creating like what you think is going to be a smaller box set, less terrain, and hopefully a lower price tag is going to lead to this season being a success? So I always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check them out. Link in the description to save 15% on Warhammer. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I am absolutely in love with these new models and this new box set. And I'm out of here.